What is Portage Place?
Portage Place is, well, a shopping center. It's also kind of like just like a hangout place for a lot of people, which is what I find it mostly is. There's like a whole kind of community that's around here, and we see some regulars here every day, same people, same kind of community, and you build a relationship with these people.
What's your name and what's your job here?
My name's Elijah. My job here, I'm with OPK Manitoba and Weejishin. My job here is sort of like a support, a host, sort of like a DCSP. We're meant to help people around here. We're also trained medically, first aid, CPR, Narcan, all that. If somebody needs to get into contact with somebody like for housing, for example, or addictions counseling, things like that, we can put them in contact with those programs and those supports and things like that. We're kind of here to just help people, almost like a host sort of ordeal.
What are the main responsibilities of your job?
The main responsibilities of my job, I just go around and we check on people all day. We go in the stairwells, we walk all around the mall, sometimes even outside. It varies situation to situation. Like we had a man who has torn up legs, like because of his addictions, he's scratching, and we bandage him up. So it really varies. We're kind of like a jack of all trades. What is your problem? We're gonna try to help in that situation.
What are some memorable things you had to do while working here?
Well, the first one would be the amount of overdoses that we have that I've personally dealt with. Probably close to about 30 people at least on my own since I've started here in the last months. One or two at least on a slow week will have overdoses. I was shocked by our first day here, we had one, and the last week we had one. So it's shocking the amount of, drug use in the downtown area. We're trying to help and support people as much as we can in this area and trying to figure out a solution as best as possible. And for my second example, it would be a woman I seen who is an inspiration. She changed her life around. She started coming up to us asking for an ambulance every day. Her alcoholism and drug use, a big problem, right? And slowly through our help, we kind of helped her change her life around. And now she went to Alberta to go see her kids. She stopped drinking and drugs entirely. She's a total inspiration, and that's our ultimate goal, is to help change lives.
What is Narcan and what does it do?
Narcan is a life-saving tool. So naloxone, basically, this short and simplified version of it is that it binds to certain receptors to neutralize the effects of opioids. Basically, there are two types of Narcan. You have the nasal ones here. I prefer the nasal. And then you have the injection ones. They both work differently. The nasal ones are very simple to use. You basically just rip off the package, you put it in somebody's nose and you shoot it up. The red side goes on your tongue and the white part goes into the nose. These are the needles, the injections. Comes with a little vial. You got to break the vial, pull it out. It's a little bit longer of a process, but it gets the same job roughly done.
So nasal is great because you can deploy it really quickly, and getting some into their bloodstream right away is the best. If the person experiencing the opioid overdose has like any blockages, any like mucus or anything in their nostrils, it might have a hard time getting in. So the injection is a good way of getting the Narcan into their bloodstream without it getting blocked by anything like that. So usually if my first dose, I'll do a nasal Narcan just to get it going right away. And then if there's somebody else on scene to help me, I'll get them to prep a needle one just in case the nasal didn't work as intended. These things, so they like drape over the person's face and it has like a blocker. So that way you don't get any of like the fluids in your mouth if you're giving mouth to mouth. But the times where we've had to do CPR, you give them your Narcan nasal and then you get somebody to do the prep, the second thing. A lot of times when you're dealing with people in a medical emergency, they want to immediately put someone on their side in case they vomit, which you don't want to do in the case of opioid overdose, because the biggest thing that's going to happen is they're not going to be breathing. So you need to make sure that their airways are as open as possible. So you want to lay them flat on their back, tilt their head, hold their chin on the top of their head. So it's kind of like this. It'll open the airway as best as possible. And if you can have somebody getting gloves on, that's best, because if they do throw up or vomit, that's when you have to flip them onto their side. And as gross as it is, you have to scoop the vomit out of their mouth. So keeping their airway as open as possible is the best thing to do. Obviously, you're not doing that if you're having to actively give CPR. And if they have no pulse at all and they're not breathing at all, you do have to do CPR. And that's pretty standard round of like 30 pumps, 2 breaths, 30 pumps, 2 breaths. And that's for adults. So since we started here, we've gone through a bunch of Narcans. This is only like a portion of the Narcan that we've used, and these are all empty. Each of these have 2 doses. So over the past 3 months here, we've given out countless uses of Narcan.
How would someone identify an opioid overdose?
To identify an opioid-related overdose, generally you go up to the person, they'd be laying down, you check their breathing. Generally, like if their breathing is not normal and it's kind of like every 8 seconds to 10 seconds, they're taking like a shallow breath and their face is kind of pale. If it's a person of color, you would want to check their inner lip. Their inner lip would be kind of like grayish, discolored kind of. Another way to check is you'd open their eyes and you'd look, they'd have a dilated pupil.
How do people here react to you guys working here?
How did they react to us working here? At first, they thought we were security. And over time, they kind of learned that we're not security. We're not here to... We work with Paladin now, but not so much anymore. They kind of realize us as just supports, hosts, things like that. Like, people come up to us all the time. Someone has a medical issue. Hey, this guy's heart's hurting. Hey, this guy's passed out in the washroom. Hey, this guy's passed out in the stairwell. And we just go around and check on people. We say hi. We're just being friendly every day. We even do the jet skins as well, kind of checking on people there too. So it's a really good thing we're doing here. I wish, you know, it was a larger thing. That were really cool. So in other words, they've become more trusting of us over time. You know, we're not security. They know that we're here to help and not having an authoritative a figure, you know. So some people don't like that. We're not here to do that. They understand that now. And over time, over these last months, it's a big community. People know us really well.
With the way things are going, what do you think is likely to happen within the next 5 years?
Within the next 5 years? Well, I know they're remodeling Portage Place. I don't know exactly into what. It's still sort of up for debate. I wasn't told anything by the real estate people yet. But in the next 5 years, I'm hoping we get more supports. I'm hoping we get more people like OPK, Winnipeg, and DCSB2 to help out with the problem that is downtown. Like, I know a lot of people, we're scared to go to a Jets game, or we're scared to go here, like elderly people and other things like that. I kind of hope that we're being part of the solution. I feel like we are, from what I've seen and what I've done. And I think that it's going to go to a good place. I have faith that we'll succeed.
What can be done to potentially bring awareness to the situations happening here?
Probably talk about it more. Don't be afraid to come down, come volunteer. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. I've been volunteering since I was in grade 8 and now I'm 22. So it's important, us as a community, get involved. That would be my piece of advice, is to get involved. Come check out OPK Manitoba. There's a website. Ridden. Definitely get involved would be my piece of advice.
So what can be done to help improve the situations going on around here?
That's a bit of a complex issue. For me, I've always thought of it like this. I don't want as much authoritative figures, because that, to me, that's never really helped any of the drug problems or anything like that. Like, you can't lock up a drug addict and expect them to get better. That's not how that works. We need more programs. We need more kind of what we're doing as well. We need to support the situation better and kind of approach it differently, is what I've always believed. It's definitely better to be supportive, you know, and try to help them in their journey to get off of that. I think that a lot of people are capable of it, more so than we could imagine, from what I've seen just even working here.